In your darkest day when you can't find your way, looking outside all you find is gray. Confined by the mind trapped inside the key, just sleep. In your darkest day when you can't find your way, looking outside all you find is gray. Confined by the mind trapped inside the key, just sleep to what you crave with no way to escape. Look behind the mind and you will find the place inside where the sun shines.
Hi.
Like the star inside your heart. So let's
Take yourself off mute there.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Okay. I'm going to work on my lighting.
Good morning here. I was finding some music to play as I let people in here in a few minutes. There we go. I'll stop for now.
My lighting is a little too much.
Oh, because of the sun shining in. I know my.
Okay, that's better. Okay.
You want front light? Something to hit you in the front?
No, this is good. I'm just gonna... Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
Is this too bright?
I almost feel like, could you turn your shade a little bit? So I think it's the sun shining and yeah, it is. I don't know. It's good. It's good, but
okay, hold on. I'm gonna work on something.
it's like you're a ball of light, which is good. But
well, I sort of am. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm gonna do something. I'm just gonna stop my video and work on something. We're gonna start with Michael's camera. Michael, are you ready? I'm gonna mute myself.
okay.
Little darling, don't you cry. Every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't worry, don't be afraid. Every little thing's gonna be okay. Open up your heart, unlock the key. Turn the key and break the chains. Love will always find a way. If you want love, you gotta give love away. Give love, give love away. Give love, give love away. Give love. Keep love away now. Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away now. Give love, keep love away. Your love is the best medicine. I shine like Edison whenever I let it in. Love is the power that opens every flower. Transform this coward into a champion. Who we are not, love is there to remind us. Providing signs and offering us guidance. Love is infinite and limited in time, but it's like inside your heart, that's where you will find. Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away now. Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away now. Give love, keep love away. Love is here, sir. Love is the key. Love is the glue between you and me. Open up your heart and you will see. Love is the thing that'll set you free. 'Cause love is a remedy, love is a cure. Love's the only thing that'll stop the war. It's what the whole world is looking for. So what in the world are you waiting for? Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away. Give love, keep love away.
Can you see my presentation?
I can. And it's 9 o'clock, so I'm going to open up the waiting.
All right, sounds good.
Good morning, friends.
In your darkest day when you can't find your way,
Good
Hi,
morning,
Michael.
everyone.
I know I see Michael Drine.
Hi.
Hi. We'll let everybody come into our portal of love.
Indeed. 100%.
Oh, you're all three together in what?
Yes, we wanted
That's
to
very
kind of come
special.
together, in the beginning.
How are you guys doing this morning?
Super. This is
Awesome.
look at a lot of people from yesterday afternoon are back. We've got some I don't diehards or what very a very intimate group has formed throughout our passionate, intimate, and thank you for joining us. If this is your first session of the 4th annual Educating Mindfully Conference, we know this is such a busy, crazy time. And so for you to take 2.5 hours out of your Sunday to just focus on you, it means a lot. It means a lot. And CASM is part of our mission in joining forces of the Mindfulness and Education organization, is creating a beloved community, as Mina brought that word to us through our conference, helping each other be accountable to our well-being.
Indeed.
We're always taking care of others, our students. And so I've recently learned about Holistic EDU from Cheryl Watkins, who is recently retired or former Network 13 chief at Chicago Public Schools. Introduced me to Narine. Am I saying that correctly?
Almost correctly. I really appreciate the effort. Narine.
Narine.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we spoke on the phone a few months ago for me to learn more about her new organization, and I knew right away that we're starting to plan our conference, that I wanted her to play a special part in it, and she's put together her crew here to bring us a special session. So I'm going to just pass it right over to them, and we can go deep together.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity. We're truly blessed and honored to be here with you today, and we want to appreciate your time. Today is really about you. So we would like for you to take this time to give this time to yourself and reflect and connect in any way that you would like to. This is how we're going to do this. We're just going to introduce ourselves really quickly. And then we are going to give you a few minutes to gather a few materials. During that time, we're going to go to our respective spots in the house, because we're not going to sit all in the same room. And then we're going to get started with the conference, okay? Or the retreat. How does that sound? Sound good to everybody? Great, wonderful. Thank you. So I'll start with myself. I'm Narine Garashur. I have been an educator for 25 years. I'm the daughter of a teacher. I have taught in parochial schools, private schools, and the last 15 years I've been with Chicago Public Schools. I've had the honor of being a teacher, assistant principal, network support person, and finally principal. This work is very near and dear to my heart. I have always prioritized culturally responsive pedagogy. And then I really got into trauma-informed practices and kind of was trying to tie those two together along with SEL. And then I came to realize once I became a principal that unless I do this work for myself, unless I'm compassionate to myself, unless I practice those SEL strategies for myself and the adults in the building, no change is going to happen. So a year ago when I walked away, I knew that I wanted to commit myself to this healing-centered practice and work. So that's a little bit about me. You can read more on our website or in my bio. Michael?
Hello. I love my little steel drum, by the way. So you'll be hearing this. You'll also be hearing. I am Michael Fry. I am today in the role of facilitator of rituals and practices for Holistic EDU. But I also own a company called Storyworks, and we bring SEL empowered curriculum and professional development to Chicago Public Schools as a vendor. You know, my practices are 30 years worth of spiritual searching, you know, all the way from, you know, the Paramahansa Yogananda Self-Realization Fellowship in like 94 through now. So I'm going to be guiding you on some practices in breath work. We're going to do a chakra tour, and we're going to have some fun with Qigong a little later. So thank you so much for having us. Rita.
Good morning, friends. My name is Rita Morales, and
Dogs. Just so you know, there is a Great Dane in our midst who can knock the gate down. So we may have a dog visitor.
part of the team. We're all a team over here.
Go sit.
I'm a visual arts teacher for primary students in Chicago Public Schools. I work at Lionel Hampton Fine and Performing Arts. I'm really interested in how social and emotional learning plays a role in the arts. And I'm going to be ending our session with you. And I'm going to talk about 3 ways where we can incorporate some healing practices into some visual art strategies. And we're going to walk away today with a special artifact so you can remember this amazing weekend.
All right, great. We are done with our introductions. We are going to, I'm going to move and change the slide so we begin gathering the materials we need. So thank you, friends. We'll see you later. I'm going to move now.
See you in a minute.
And you guys are stuck with me. So what I want to do while they're changing up the mood is I want us all to do what I call a collective Om. If you know about Oms, they're a vibrational connection to your inner story. So I do a lot of work about how our inner story, how we feel inside, the story we tell ourselves about ourselves, flows out into the universe, flows out into your relationships, and begins to affect your outer story. So a lot of the work that we're going to do today is about self-love, self-care, self-compassion in order to balance your inner story, your inner workings, so that you radiate more love, more compassion, and more kindness outward to everyone around you. So before Narine, are you ready, Nari?
I am.
You're like
So go ahead. Let's go ahead and do the collective Om.
Let's do the collective Om. So what I want everyone to do first is just bring your hands together if you can in front of your chest. And then I want you to reach out and hold hands. Just go ahead and reach your hand forward. We're going to do some virtual imagining, and we're all going to take a hand and we're going to close our eyes. And when we close our eyes, I want you to focus on the earth, the entirety of the earth. And then we're going to do an Om. So I'll model that. We'll close our eyes. Everyone close your eyes. I'm going to take a deep breath in. And when we exhale, we're going to do an Om. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, we're going to breathe in. And let's Om. Om. Just hold that silence for a second. Let that settle in for a second. Don't forget to breathe. And when you're ready, you just open your eyes and come on out. Okay. And try to smile. If you can bring a smile to your face, that smile will change your body chemistry somewhat. Okay, so Narene is getting our beautiful deck that she prepared ready.
Okay, thanks everyone. If the sound of the water is a little louder and I need to mute it, let me know in the chat. I dropped 2 links for you in the chat. One is a link to our decks. I'll be presenting it, but you also have a link to it because there are some embedded links within the deck in case you want to have that. The deck is also in a PDF format in our shared folder. There's also a note catcher that I've prepared for today, since there will be times where we'll ask you to reflect and take notes and for your own learning. So if you would like to use it, you can make a copy of it and save it on your own drive. And that link was also shared in the deck, in the chat box with you. These are the materials we are going to need for today. Of course, wearing loose fitting comfortable clothes and the yoga mat. It's not mandatory, but these are recommendations. So since we are going to do some movement together, we wanted to make sure everybody was comfortable. If you have a yoga mat that you want to use or a towel, that would be appropriate. We would like to ask everyone to find a box and have it nearby. We're going to use it for a practice. It could be any box. A box where you can actually write little notes to yourself and then put it in the box. It could be an Amazon box, a shoe box, any kind of a box would do. You're going to need a small bag. For right now, you can just take a plastic bag if you want, but if you have like a small bag where I would say like maybe with a zipper, you would put your change in it, that would be appropriate. Again, don't stress out over any of this.
No.
Paper to write on, you're gonna need some paper and a writing utensil. A few objects that have meaning for you that A shouldn't be there, maybe a shell, a stone, something you've collected at some point, a bowl of water, and then just a plate or a bowl, I'm gonna move this, where you can, oh, sorry about that, where you can use the back to draw a circle. So those are the things you need. I'm just gonna set 5 minutes on my timer. The time now is 9:13. Let's come back together in 5 minutes. You have time to go and gather these things, get a glass of water, and come right back. I'm missing a few things myself. I'll be right back. Oh, shoot.
That's a vowel.
Oh, yeah. That's how you know on the English language.
You should make a joke about it.
Yeah. Okay.
You write about it.
Yep.
You are literally
All right, as everyone gets an opportunity to gather the materials that we are going to need, it was brought to my attention that I made a spelling error. I will fix it. Not bow, but bold. That's how you know I'm a second language learner. The E's and the I's sometimes play tricks on me. So I'll fix that later. Please, English teachers especially, excuse me. All right. We said 9:18, it's 9:17. We'll give folks another minute. If you don't have everything, that's okay. At least you have access to the list and you can play with this later. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Michael, would you like to share
Yes.
today's expectations or what we're expecting to gain from today?
Yes, we're gonna have a good mood. So that's number one. We're gonna stay cheerful. We expect to engage in practices that will make you feel good, that will allow you to connect to your good feelings. Self-compassion, so important. We're gonna gain insights and practices that can lead to self-compassion and personal freedom, and a renewed vision of ourselves and our power to affect our global community. So personal vision, but also that personal vision expanded to help others.
Thank you so much, Michael. And the way our personal vision and personal freedom helps others is if we are at our best benefits everybody else. So that's why our best, like when we talk about equity, like really advocating for that self-compassion and self-freedom really can have an impact on the people around you. Okay. Rita, would you like to share the agenda?
All right, friends, we have a great full agenda today. We're going to start out with a fears and hopes ceremony. We're going to breathe together. We're going to do a body scan with a chakra tour. We're going to talk about the 4 agreements. Then we'll take a break. Then we're going to go into the 4 agreements part 2. Then we'll have an opportunity to think and ink. We're going to take a quick break again. And then we're going to learn a little bit about the Qigong. And then we're going to use some artifacts to enhance our healing. And then we're going to do some artifact making to create vision. And then we're going to have a loving kindness meditation. So a full agenda full of fun and self-compassion and good vibes.
Thank you, Rita. You will notice that we put the Castle's 3 signature practices up here, and we just want to draw attention to that for a moment. Castle recommends that if you don't do anything, you should definitely always incorporate their 3 signature practices within your professional development and your day by day existence, right? And those are inclusive and welcoming rituals, engaging in well-being and teamwork, and as well as hopeful closures. So we are hoping that you notice those things, you see those things throughout today's conference or retreat. There is a note catcher that I shared with you, and there's a link of the note catcher from this slide. So if you want to have access to it, I ask that you remember to make a copy of it. Thank you so much. Okay. We would like to bring our awareness to the 5 elements. When we create learning opportunities or being opportunities with our partners and those that we engage with, we always want to incorporate nature within our practices because not only these elements are interconnected, but they are part of our being. So you will notice that the practices that we're going to engage in one way or another connect to one of these elements. Air, which is always in movement, and it's dynamic. Water, the eternal flow of water is significant to think about, and water purifies. Water also transforms, transmits information throughout our body. It cleanses and purifies. Fire has power to transform, to burn, to eliminate. It also has power to fuel passion and anger. Earth is a solid state of matter. Earth is nature, and ether, which is the space in between, and it is basically the energy. So you will see those incorporated within our practices today. A little bit later, we're going to talk about the 4 agreements. They are: be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Assume positive intent and do your best. You may have seen these before. You may have read the book. Miguel Ruiz's book, The 4 Agreements. You may have already read the book. For me personally, this is by far one of the best leadership books that I've read. And throughout my life, I've had an opportunity to come back to it from time to time and reinterpret it differently. So what I asked for us to do today is hold on to one of these agreements for the day and put it at the forefront of your mind and say to yourself, today, as I go through the materials, I'm going to try to practice that agreement. I want to make one other note. Today is Sunday, so you have had a lot of information given to you, and you've had a lot of practices since Thursday, I think. So if anything is repetition, I invite you to look at it differently and just have the experience. So on that note, we're going to keep going. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do a ceremony that I call Fears and Hopes ceremony. We use the fire element and we use the water element. We've done this at the Lakefront with teachers for several schools. When I was a principal, I did it with my staff. And then we were able to do it for a few other schools. But we've also done the virtual version, and we're going to do the virtual version today. In a moment, I will play the fire, the fireplace, the bonfire. What I ask you to do is get a piece of paper and write down a fear that you have, something that makes you feel fearful. Maybe it's about today. Maybe you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to give 2.5 hours to this. I got all these things to do. I'm done with my stuff. Whatever it is, whatever the fear is, maybe it's big in general. Write it down on that piece of paper.
And Narene,
Yes.
can we take a few seconds to connect to the fire?
Yes.
To connect to the ancient element of fire for since the beginning of human time, since we've been here and our ancestors have always gathered around fires and have always told stories. We've taken warmth from fire. Fire has the power to destroy the old, but also to create the space for the new. And so spend a little bit of time just watching the fire and connecting to your ancestors. And do some, I always say, don't stop breathing. Breathe in and out regular and look at the fire for a second. Connect. Whatever goes into that fire, it gets transmuted, it's transformed, it gets changed.
if I close my eyes, I actually like can feel the warmth of the fire. It's so interesting. Our senses are amazing. When you are ready, I invite you to take your paper, ball it up, and throw it in the fire.
Can I just say something about the fire?
Yes.
So fire, as educators, fire is an element that we're just never allowed to use. Like we would never be allowed to light even a candle in our classrooms. And what Mike said about the fire being part of our ancestors, we've always gathered around the fire. It's part of who we are. It's helped us evolve and into what we've become today. Just it doesn't feel the same being around a digital fire, right? Because we wish we were around a real fire. We wish we were outside. But this is one way to bring this into the classroom and to expose our students to the concept of this fire and this communal piece. So I wanted to point that out, like as educators, this is a really good strategy to use with students, a virtual fire.
Thank you for that, Rita. She was asking me before we started, you know, I'm going to keep on giving examples in the classroom. I'm like, yes, that's why you're a part of this, so that you can talk about that applicability of how it can be used in the classroom. Okay, I hope everybody had an opportunity to throw their piece of paper in the fire and burn it, transform their fear. And thank you, Michael and Rita, for your contributions. Anyone else wants to say anything before we move on to our hopes ceremony? Anyone? Okay, so I'm going to stop this and go here. Oh, sorry. Okay, so now we are going to use the water element. Water has an eternal flow. It flows through our being. Water purifies and cleanses. I would like to invite you to, you can do this two ways. You can either write it on a piece of paper and throw it in the water, or you can grab an object. If you brought an object, I have a crystal here that I brought. I also have a bowl of water. So I was going to use my bowl of water and you know, so I can actually hear the sound of water when I threw my object in the water. But if you don't want to do that and you don't have a bowl of water, that's okay. You can write it on paper and you can throw it in the water. So I'm going to play the water sound. Like Michael reminded us, first go ahead and connect with it. And when you are ready, put an intention in that object, you know, hope for something for your day, for your week, for your year, and then drop it in the water. Here we go. Did everyone have an opportunity to do this, to partake? Wonderful, great. Thank you so much. Thanks for participating. I am going to, that's so strange why it does that. I'm sorry. But, okay, here it is. Michael, you're up and we can't hear you. Unmute yourself, please.
Can you guys hear me? Very good. So everyone is probably familiar with the word breath work. It's become very popular lately. But rather than kind of the pop culture version of breathing, I wanted to talk to you a little bit first about why deep breathing is so important in these times. You know, we're in a global pandemic. It seems, you know, kind of, you know, unrelenting. It seems to be recreating itself over and over again. But most of us came into the pandemic already carrying ancestral trauma, cultural trauma, personal trauma, and of course, environmental trauma. So we entered into the new kind of new world that we live in, carrying our traumas with us collectively. One of the things that our bodies naturally do is breathing is, number one, essential. How many people breathe? Can I see a show of hands? Anyone here not breathing? Okay, good. But do we know kind of why breathing is so very important besides just for life energy? So how you breathe is directly connected to how you feel. And I want you to take a look at the diagram and you'll see the human lung has 3 levels, right? Level A, which is top breathing. And we'll do a kind of a test in a minute to see where we are. But level A is shallow breathing. Level B is mid-range breathing. And level C would be deep breathing. And then there's actually a little hidden level D, which is where you store all your toxins. So here's the thing. Stress causes shallow breathing. And shallow breathing only gives us 10% of the oxygen that we need to perform optimally as human beings. When you breathe into the mid-level, you're getting about 20% of the oxygen that you need, again, for optimal functionality as a human being. If you breathe deeply, regularly, you're going to be getting 100% of that oxygen. And when you breathe all the way in and exhale all the way out, you then clear those toxins from your breath. Now, here's what shallow breathing does. Shallow breathing, which is this, it triggers your fight or flight mechanisms. And when you're, so what fight or flight, everyone kind of has heard that, but I want to give you an example of fight or flight from our ancestors and then fight or flight from us today. Because our ancestors, our ancient ancestors, whether they were in caves or on the savannah or in a frozen tundra, actually had it better off. And I'll explain why. When your ancestors saw a lion or a snake or a polar bear, they had seconds to run. They had a fight or flight response. They ran, they either fought and died or they fought and lived. And then their stress levels in the next hour or so would return back to normal and they would go about their daily lives. For us, our stress levels, our stressors are conceptual a lot of times, right? So our stressors are bills, our stressors are COVID, our stressors are work problems, our stressors are the fact that, you know, our nation is disrupted, the fact that we have, you know, racial inequality, the fact that we have a global pandemic. So quite frankly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we have our lions, right? And so a lot of us have developed this shallow breathing as our norm. So here's what shallow breathing and fight or flight does. Fight or flight tells the body to shut down your digestive system, tells it to shut down your cognitive skills and the production of helpful chemicals in your brain and your pituitary, in your pineal gland, like serotonin, melatonin, and dopamine. But what it does is it increases the harmful chemicals like cortisol, which causes inflammation in the body, which leads to everything, including cancer and all kinds of health disorders. Adrenaline, which causes you anxiety and feelings of fear. So deep breathing will trigger rest and digest and release all of the good chemicals. Okay, so right now what I want you to do is place one hand, we're going to do a little belly breathing, and that's going to tell you where your breathing is in terms of shallow, mid, or deep. Okay, so place one hand if you can on the top of your chest, one hand on your diaphragm, which is right below your belly button here. And then I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and just notice if your chest moves or your belly moves. Let's breathe in for 4 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And then let go. How many people, or I can't see everybody, but if your chest moved and your belly really didn't, you're a shallow breather. If you breathe in and your stomach, let me move back up, or up a little bit, and your stomach and your belly came out, that means you're starting to deep breathe. So what I want to do is I want to practice a little bit of belly breathing, and then we're going to go into 4 squared breathing. You ready? Okay. Again, place one hand on your chest, one hand on your diaphragm. We're going to breathe on the count of 3. We're going to breathe in through our nose. And when we get all of our air in, we're going to extend our belly out a little. And then we're going to exhale with noise. We're going to do that 3 times. Okay, on the count of 3, we're going to breathe in through our nose. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Let that belly come out. And then exhale. All the way out. And then use this hand to press it a little. Release. Breathe in. Extend your belly. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in through your nose. Extend belly and exhale. If you get a little lightheaded, that's okay. Now just breathe normally for a second and notice how you feel. Notice if you feel more relaxed, more calm, more peaceful. Good. Okay, now what I want to practice is I want to practice 4 squared breathing. 4 squared breathing you've probably heard of, and you may have even already practiced. The thing about 4 squared breathing is that it's very handy. And we want to give you tools to use, what I call triage tools during triage trauma. So when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling anxious, or when you want to help someone who's feeling stressed or feeling anxious, you can run them through this 4 squared breathing technique. And for me, it's never failed. I used it in Costa Rica on a couple of friends who were having almost panic attacks, and it worked very well. So the way that 4 squared breathing works is that it's a series of breaths for 4 seconds. The first thing we do is we're going to inhale through our nose for 4 seconds. We're going to hold it for 4 seconds. Exhale through our mouths with noise for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4 seconds. And then inhale for 4 seconds, hold, exhale, hold. We're going to do that 4 times. Okay, everybody ready? I'll lead us in this. You may keep your hand on your chest and on your belly if you want. I like to hold my hands out like this when I do a 4 square breathing. It's up to you, whatever you like to do. Okay, again, always in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you exhale, feel free to let sound out because you're really releasing. I say you're going to inhale peace. You're going to exhale fear. Inhale peace, exhale fears. Okay, so here we go with the 4 squared breathing. We're going to breathe in for 4 seconds on the count of 3, and I'll count. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Breathe in and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. And the last two we're going to do in your own count. But inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale at your own pace now. And when you're ready, come on out. And smile. Namaste. Thank you. How do you feel? Can I have some responses? Can we have verbal responses? I want to hear how people feel. You feel relaxed? You feel more calm?
Settled.
Relax.
Yeah.
Calm.
Calmer, more peaceful, more relaxed.
Content.
Thank you.
Centered, definitely centered.
Mm. Thank you. Blessings. Narnet. Hello, it's me. So what I want to talk to you about now, can you go to the next slide, please? What I want to talk to you now is a little bit about chakras. So your chakras are your energy centers, and they're the energy centers of the body. And when they are aligned and open, your energy can run freely, run through your body, and we really feel harmony between the physical body, the mind, and the spirit. When they're blocked, we have all kinds of imbalances, all kinds of things that play out in our lives from blocked chakras. I could literally do 2 hours on chakras, but we don't really have that time. Here's what we're going to do today. I want you to look at the chart in front of you. And I want to just briefly go over the chakras. And then we're going to do a guided tour of your chakras, in which I'm going to use a mindfulness practice. Some people call it body scanning. But what we're going to do is we're going to move through our body and we're going to visit our chakras. And when we get to each chakra, we're going to do a deep breath into that chakra around the powers and values of each chakra. And this is something that we're going to do once all the way up. But when you do it alone, and when you do it in the future, I want you to cycle it. What that means is I want you to go from your root to your crown, and from your crown back down to your root. And that way you're cycling up and down. Energy moves through your body simultaneously up and down. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about chakras. So your root chakra at the very bottom is located at the base of your spine, but it's really sensed at your perineum, I believe it's called, which is the space between your genitals and your anus. I know we can all hi, I said the words, but that's where you're gonna sense that. And when you're utilizing that root chakra, it's important that you can tighten that muscle a little bit and release. When we go through, I'll talk about the qualities. Your sacral, now I'm gonna use my hands. Your sacral is right between your belly button, below your belly button and your pubis area. And that color is orange, okay? And the colors are really important. Your solar plexus chakra, of course, is located where? At your solar plexus, which is where your rib cage comes together and a little below. And that color is yellow. Can you go back, please? Thank you. Then your heart chakra. I want everybody to go like this. Just rub your heart, because that heart chakra is so important. This is the focal point. If you look, there's 3 bottom, lower chakras, and there's 3 higher chakras, but right in the center sits that heart chakra. And that heart chakra is really the secret to the alignment of your chakra. So the color is green, okay? Moving up to your throat chakra, that color is blue. And we'll talk again about the qualities later, but remember, it's right in here. And never be afraid to touch those chakras, because your hands have energy. We'll get into that when we do our Qigong. You'll see me going like this all the time. I do it if you're not looking. I do it if you are looking. I don't care, because it connects my chakras. And I suggest you guys begin to understand the power that you are, the energy that you are. You are energetic beings. You are vibrational beings. And you bring that power to yourself first before you can share it. We go up to the forehead, right between the eyebrows. That's your 3rd eye chakra. The color is indigo, an indigo blue. Start to feel that. Yeah, man. Makes me smile. And then we're going to go up to our crown chakra. The way that I do that, I touch the very top of my head, the very center, and I kind of rub around. Okay, and that color is violet. Okay, that color is violet. And remember, they have individual powers, but when they're balanced, they work in alignment. Okay, Narine?
Can I just say 2 things about this color chart or the chakra?
Please.
The chakra chart. The first thing is, I'm always like seeing patterns. So one of the first things when I first kind of saw this, I thought about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I was like, that's very interesting, right? The associations that you see below, I thought like that's kind of how Maslow works. The other thing that I wanted to say is that sometimes intuitively, at certain times in my life, I've been attracted to a certain color. I remember one summer I was between jobs and I was feeling really like down on myself. And I was really attracted to yellow that summer. I just wanted to wear yellow. And then Michael brought to my attention and was like, that's interesting because it's kind of related to your self-esteem and your solar plexus. So just paying attention to ourselves and like our feelings and what we feel and how it's associated to these energy fields is pretty fascinating. One other fun fact, the colors of the chakras are in the same order as the colors of color of the rainbow. So I think that's pretty fascinating. All right, so I am going to go to the next slide now. Michael?
Well, I wanted you to play because what we're going to do now, we're going to do that guided meditation chakra tour, and I would like to have the 4, 3, 2.
That's right. Okay, let me play.
So when she's finding that music, I want to tell you why I picked this piece. It's not so much music as it is a tone. It's 432 hertz, and 432 hertz is. So let's talk about frequency for a minute. There's several. Each chakra also has a frequency attached to it. We're not going to go through all of those. I would love for you guys on your own time to research which frequencies help to clear which chakras. But in general, the 432 hertz will calm you. The 432 hertz will balance you as a human being. Another one, if you're needing some positive energy, will be 528. I highly recommend. And while she's getting this up, there's something called the Schulman resonance. The Schulman resonance is the vibration of our Mother Earth, of Gaia. It's 7.8, but just SHULMAN, Schulman resonance. It's a tone. And at first, when you listen to it, you feel like, why am I listening to this tone? And then about a minute or so into it, you suddenly feel this release of energy and you begin to connect to the earth's vibration. In your own research, please look up the shift from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. Okay, so now, yay, do we have the music playing? Is that tone? When we do our presentations live, we have this kind of, we're able to control the sound more. Can you bring it up a little, Narina, or no? It's coming through a little weird, but that's okay. You know, I think we've learned to forgive technology during our Zoom meetings. So just allow that tone a little bit. What I want you to do is let's take a few slow breaths, but I want you to exhale with sound. I want you to get rid of some things before we do our tour, because I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and go on a guided meditation. So we're gonna breathe in slowly and we're gonna exhale, and I'm gonna make a lot of noise. You guys can do what you want, okay? But I'm gonna let shit out. And I recommend you do the same thing. Again, we're gonna inhale our peace, we're gonna exhale our fears. So we're gonna do 3. Let's breathe in through our nose, 1, 2, 3. Again. Again. And now one just slow one without. Now, if your eyes are closed, please keep your eyes closed. If they aren't, close them and relax. Roll your shoulders a little bit, shake your hands out. If you have on shoes, take them off and put your feet flat on the ground. That's you connecting to Gaia. That's you connecting to the earth. Don't forget to continuously just breathe, nothing special. So now I want you to bring your attention, your focus to your toes. Wiggle your toes. Now, what I want you to notice is that your toes have a unique glow to them today, a unique luminescence. Bring your attention, bring that glow up to your ankles, your calves and your shins. Bring your attention to your knees, and let's leave our attention there, our healing energy there for a second, and let that energy circulate around your knees. And you see that glow? That glow is healing. We're gonna go up your thighs now, your outer thigh, your inner thigh. Bring your attention up into your glutes, into your tuchus. Let that circulate, let that glow and that warmth. Now we're gonna bring our attention to our perineum, to the space between our anus and our genitals, and take a deep breath. And exhale. And imagine a glowing red ball. Breathe into that red ball and it expands. This is your root chakra, and this is where you have your sense of stability. Exhale and inhale at your own pace. As you inhale, the red glowing ball expands outward to encompass you. And as you exhale, every cell is filled with red energy. This is your family and social belonging, safety and security. One more time, we're gonna breathe into that red glowing ball. Gonna expand. And as you exhale, your cells are filled with that red glowing energy. Sit with that for a second. Now, as you breathe in, we're gonna bring our attention up, and you can use your hands for warmth to to guide your attention if you need, but we're going to bring our attention up to right below the belly button. And as you breathe in, now there's an orange glowing ball. That orange glowing ball of light, as you breathe into it, it expands. And as you exhale, your cells are filled with orange power and beauty. This is your sacral chakra. Breathe in, let it expand. It's creativity and sexuality, power, control, money, and relationships. And as we breathe in, we're healing those qualities. Breathe in and let that orange ball expand. And as you exhale, it contracts a little and it fills your cells with orange, powerful energy, healing. One more time, breathe into that orange sacral chakra below your belly button and let it expand till it encompasses you. And now you're feeling orange. And as you exhale, your cells are filled with orange healing energy. Bring your attention now upwards from below your belly button to your solar plexus where your rib cage meets. And there's a yellow, bright, glowing ball. Breathe into that yellow ball and expand. Exhale, and that yellow energy fills your cell with healing energy. This is your solar plexus. Breathe in, let that yellow expand. This is your personality, self-esteem, and gut instinct, your intuition. Breathe in, it expands to surround you. And you exhale, and that yellow energy again fills your cells with that power, that healing power of yellow of your solar plexus chakra. As you breathe in now, I want you to bring your attention to your heart center in the center of your chest. And there's a green, glowing, spinning ball of light. Breathe into it, and it's going to expand. And the energy is delightful. The energy is joyful. The energy is power. Exhale, and that green energy flows to every single cell of your body. Breathe in again as it expands. This is your heart chakra, your central chakra, your central sun. It's your love. It's your forgiveness. It's your compassion. It's part of your divinity. Let it expand, surround you. You feel green yourself. And exhale. And allow that green to fill your body and your cell. Again, inhale that green. Let it surround you. Let it heal you. Let it charge you up. And as we exhale, we let it trickle into every cell. Feeling fulfilled. Now as you inhale, I want you to bring your attention, your focus up to your throat chakra. That's blue energy. It's energy of communication, of speech, of your words and your sounds. Breathe in and let that blue ball expand. Blue light energy expanding, expanding, expanding. And then exhale. And drive that energy into your entire body. That blue energy into every cell. One more time, we're going to inhale and surrender to this blueness as it gets bigger and bigger, and it encompasses your whole body in blue light. Exhale. And allow that blue of self-expression, choice, will to follow your dreams, to have faith and trust in life to fill your body. As you inhale now, bring your attention up to your third eye, which is right between your eyebrows. Breathe in, the indigo light ball expands, feel around your entire head. Breathe a little bit more and let it expand behind you and around you and encompass you. Exhale, and that indigo flows into your cell. We're gonna inhale again, let that indigo brighten up your day, brighten up your eyes, brighten up your mind. This is your intellect, your brain, your open-mindedness, divine reason, and your bigger picture and trust. Indigo expands, and exhale that indigo as it fills your cells with trust in life. Inhale now upwards to your crown, the very top of your head. Inhale, and as you inhale, you feel yourself blowing up a violet ball of spinning light. That violet ball of spinning light, as you inhale, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you exhale, it fills your cells with violet light. We're going to inhale that crown chakra, your connection to divinity, one more again. Breathe in. As that crown expands, it's your spirituality. It's knowing who you are. It's the ability to let go. It's your rise through enlightenment and awareness. Breathe in to the violet as it grows. It surrounds you, and you rest and bask in this violet divine energy. Exhaling, you allow this violet energy to fill your cells with your awareness and your enlightenment. Again, we're going to expand now from the crown chakra, the violet chakra, and now we're going to descend, but we're going to go more quickly. So bring your attention from the crown chakra, violet chakra, downwards into your third eye. Breathe in once. It's going to be indigo ball of light. In and out. Come down to your throat chakra. Blue. Breathe in, let it expand. Let it contract. Come down to your heart chakra. Green ball of light. Inhale, let it expand. Exhale. Let's move down to your solar plexus. Yellow. Breathe in. That yellow ball expand. And you exhale. Breathe out. And breathe in now, that orange in your sacral, right below your belly button. You're breathing in, and that orange ball grows bigger. Exhale. That orange. And now your base root chakra, breathe in to that red ball of light, and it grows where you can sit upon it. Breathe in. All is one, and all is well. Just sit for a minute with balance. And when you're ready at your own time, you can open your eyes, and we'll know that you've come out of our chakra tour. How do you guys feel? It's something else, huh?
Can I ask a question, Mike?
Yes, please.
So as we were doing this, I would open my eyes and I would see some of our friends like really getting into this.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, for all my friends out there who are classroom teachers or you're working in any kind of school environment, how many of you start the school day off with the Pledge of Allegiance, or you started off with some kind of morning announcement in your school? You can just like raise your hand. I see a few hands going up. So I wonder what you think, how would starting our students' day off with breathing techniques, how might that change the way our students' days goes, or our teachers' days? Like, how might that change? Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I would say for me, because I work with TK through 5, and so we purposefully start our mornings with a mindfulness of breathing, because we want to transition our students and our staff from like what we're coming into. And then we also, during our transition time, specifically after lunchtime, we do the same thing. We stop and pause and do like breathing just to ground all of us into the space before we have to do like the work.
Thank you for sharing that.
In our school, we do just 3 deep breaths, reaching and stretching, where the children are gathered in the morning. So they come into school, they have to be in a gathering space. And we started with the 3 breaths. And then after that, I ask them to just give themselves a hug, and I wish them a beautiful day and send them love to start. We do that in the morning where K to 2 gathers, and then in the afternoon, where 3 to 5, when they gather, we'll do the same kind of thing. Only at the end of the day, I just kind of ask them to share one good thing that happened.
Can I ask, Jane Marie, so, oh, sorry, is my speaker funny? Jane Marie, so what benefits do you notice from that for the students? What do you know?
You know, this is the way we want to start our day. We want to start our day and end our day with peace and calm and love. But these are the touch points, but there has to be more during the day. So I have to say that it's something that then the classroom teacher touches upon. When we do our announcements, we will do like an affirmation or a thought for the day for centering, but it moves throughout the day. So I absolutely love the practice we just did with Michael. My wheels are turning, and I thank you for the inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. Jane, Marie, thank you for sharing. I also wanted to quickly share, when I was a principal at Irving Elementary School, we had calm classrooms, which really, if you think about the SEL standards, calm classrooms really reinforces the first 2 standards, self-awareness and self-regulation. So it's not like, oh, we got SEL. No, it doesn't cover all the standards, right? But we would start with a calm classroom technique that the students learned how to lead. So they were calm classroom techniques led by students 3 times a day, in the morning, after lunch, and before going home. But then I was intentional about making sure I put those practices in my grade level agendas during the week and my professional development, because if this was an expectation for teachers to do it for the students, then I needed to make sure that we were doing it as adults, because A, it was good for us, and B, it was reinforcing that expectation that, okay, this is important. So we always have to remember the adults. So this chakra tour that Michael just exhibited, it may be a little too much for younger children. I would say, high school students would be open to something like this, but it's really, a practice that we can really develop for ourselves to have in our own toolkit. Okay, is there anybody else who wants to share before I move on?
I wanted to say, I have some experience with chakras, and I just really appreciated this practice to try to clear, because I did notice my sacral needs some clearing. But as a reading specialist, I'm always looking for ways to incorporate these type of practices. And one of the biggest pieces of practice with this is, older kids reading chapter books are visualizing all the time. This is such a great connection to practicing that reading strategy of visualizing the movie that's going on in your head as you're reading. So being able to simply visualize color within your body is an incredible start to navigating visualization of characters and emotions that you see on those characters' faces and sensations that you have related to those characters. And it just kind of snowballs from there. But I just made that connection after the practice, and I was like, holy cow, this is powerful stuff. So thank you so much.
I love that. I love that. I would have never thought that. That's why, like, all of our voices our collective voices really matter. So thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide. And Michael?
Do we have time to go through this, Narene? Do we have some?
Yes, we do. Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. So one of the things about chakras is that there's also, you know, hand gestures and called mudras that help to connect you to each chakra, and each chakra has its own Om. So really quickly, let's go over the mudras, and then we're going to do another fun thing, which we're going to just go quickly upwards through each of the Oms. Okay, so with your root chakra, okay, again, that's your red chakra, that's your lower chakra, that's your stability. You want to take your thumb and index fingers of your hand. So thumb and index finger. It says sit in the lotus position. If you're not, that's okay. And you want to place your hands on your knees. So it's like this, like an okey doke, right? And you place it on your legs if you were meditating. And then the sound is Lam. So let's do that. Let's get our hands. Let's put our hands in place. Let's close our eyes for red. And again, it's Lam. So it's just like Lam. You guys ready? Close your eyes and breathe in and Lam. With a smile at the end. I get chills when we do those kind of things. Okay, now we're going to move up again to your sacral, which is below your belly button, above your pubic area. This time we're going to place our hands in our laps with our palms facing upward. Right palm on top of the left palm. Okay, and we're going to let our thumbs connect. We're connecting energy here. We'll get to more of this when we get to our Qigong. Okay, the color is orange. Okay, so we're going to close our eyes. We're going to imagine orange, and the sound is Bam. So one of the things about Oms is there's really two sounds. There's the consonant ba, and then there's a let them all ride. So Bam. Okay, you ready? Close your eyes for the orange. Breathe in. Bam. With a smile. Wow, very good. I love this stuff. Okay, now for our solar plexus chakra, again, right where your rib cage meets and a little bit below, we're going to put our hands together and allow our thumbs to cross in front of your stomach, so right here. Okay, and the sound is Ram, R-A-N. So close your eyes, imagine a yellow ball. Breathe in and Ram. With a smile. I like the kid. Ooh, that feels good. I hold him a little bit because, woo, I got chills on that one. Now we're going to move to that beautiful heart, right? Remember that open heart is your power. Open heart. Real quick, go like this. And then back. And breathe in. Let that heart go forward. Okay, now for the heart chakra, we are going to do different things with different hands. So with our right hand, you put your index finger and together, touching the heart center here, and with your left hand doing the same mudra, you're going to have it resting on your knee. So it's going to be right hand heart, left hand down on your left knee, and the sound is Yam, Y-A-M. So close your eyes, imagine that green ball, breathe in, Yam. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in. Yum. Okay. Now we're going to move upwards to our throat chakra. Color is blue. And this is, you're going to have your hands by your stomach. Okay. You're going to interface your hands. And you're going to bring, again, your thumbs together. And the word for your throat chakra is ham, H-A-M. Okay, breathe in, imagine that blue throat chakra. Ham. Lovely. We're going to rise up now to our third eye chakra between our eyebrows. This one is a little bit different. We're going to put our hands in front of the lower part of our chest, middle fingertips touching, and the other fingers bent at the first joint. So without being funny, we're going to go like this. And for me, I always have my thumbs together. Thumbs connecting are always powerful. Right in front of your chest. And we're imagining indigo. Okay, we're going to breathe in. It's Om. It's your regular Om. Okay, breathe in. Om. Now we're going to rise up to our crown chakra. And with this one, we have our hands in front of our stomach, fingers interlaced, but with your little baby fingers pointing up. And again, my thumbs are together. Now it says Om, but, and you can do Om, but actually it's Ah. It's like releasing everything. Ah. Okay, so imagine that violet chakra again. Hold your hands in front of your stomach. We're gonna breathe in and we're just gonna let a ah out. Okay, breathe in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah. Again, breathe in. Ah. We're gonna do a third one. Breathe in deep. Let it all out. Ah. And smile. Namaste. Thank you. And namaste has kind of become a cliche, but really what it means is the divine in me sees, recognizes, and honors the divine in you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
I wanted to make sure Michael shared all the practices he had prepared for us. We are going to take a break now. I moved up the break. It's time for a break. We have 10 minutes. During this break, please come back at 10:30. Thank you. I was reading all the wonderful comments in the chat box. Thank you for being back, friends. The time is 10:30, and I am going to begin this portion of our retreat. How many of you have heard of the 4 agreements? Raise your hand. Okay, I see your hands, and I'm just kind of going through the slides. Most of the hands are up, some hands are down. How many of you have actually used the 4 agreements in your life intentionally? I see 2, 3, about 4 or 5 hands. Okay, great. Thank you for that. And of course, there are no right or wrong answers. This is just to kind of gauge who's in the room and our experience with these specific agreements. So the 4 agreements, authored by Don Miguel Ruiz, who his belief system is of the Toltec system, which is 1,000-year-old system of knowledge from Mexico. People who believe in the Toltec way of life. It's not a religion. They are called Naguals. So those are people who, men and women, that end up mastering their minds, and they become Naguals. These practices are still practiced by the indigenous people in specific regions in Mexico, along with Don Ruiz and people who follow him. The 4 agreements was introduced to me by one of my mentors, actually Dr. Cheryl Watkins, who knew that I was going to be walking into a school as a principal, as an interim principal at the time. The school was, the relationships amongst the adults were messy. There had been some issues with the previous administrator. There was harm had been caused. People didn't trust each other. And I was placed in this role. I wasn't elected. So I needed to come in and, really work on building trust and interpersonal relationships. And at the same time, being someone who was placed in the position, and I wasn't, voted in or elected. I wanted to show vulnerability. And I also wanted to have compassion for myself in the process. So I took a serious kind of step in trying to understand how the 4 agreements were going to apply to my setting in this school as a set of agreements that I would use and operationalize. So just a few words about each agreement, and then I'm going to give us 10 minutes to either read a summary or watch a video on our own, so that we can come back with some activated prior knowledge. Be impeccable with your word. Use your word to build things, not to gossip. The author uses the term emotional poison when he refers to gossip, and he says that when we use our word to, break someone down or to gossip, we're actually, passing on this emotional poison to them, and it's kind of like casting a spell on them. So that's the first one. How do you speak about yourself and others? Not taking things personally. That this one, the second agreement, has been the most difficult for me throughout my career, especially as a principal, because I've always loved my job and things were very personal to me. So if they didn't go well or if somebody said something, they felt personal. And the author of the book really encourages us not to take anything personally when it's even directed towards us, because according to him, we have been domesticated to basically believe other people's opinions about things. So when we take something personally, we actually take that emotional poison and we allow it to enter our body and enter our energy and enter our space. That's a difficult one. I'd like to have some conversation about that one specifically later. Assuming positive intent, I feel like this is one of those things that we have really control over. We don't have a lot of control over a lot of things that happen, but our perception of things we have control over. So on a day-to-day basis, when things happen, how do we perceive it? Do we perceive it from a place of asset, from a place of, oh, okay, giving people the benefit of the doubt, or even yourself, or do we perceive it from somewhere negative? Is our perceptions fear and doubt based? So that one makes a really big difference in our day-to-day way of being, if you think about it, our assumptions. And finally, doing our best. This one, when we think about self-compassion, is a huge one for me because our best can fluctuate. It can look different from time to time, from day to day, from morning to afternoon. So what does that best look like for yourself and for others? So I'm going to pause there and ask Michael if he wants to add anything before we move to the next slide. I can't hear you. You're muted. Yes.
I always do that. I mean, I'm always muted during these Zoom things. I'm not even gonna apologize. It's just kind of funny to me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. The 4 agreements, very personal to me. Actually, Narine introduced me to them several years ago, and I realized that I needed to work on all 4. Like I'm the 5th agreement. Like I really needed work. So I want to say something about being impeccable with your word that Don Miguel makes clear in the very beginning of that chapter, and that is that the first either victim of verbal violence or of the upliftment of verbal celebration is you. And so be impeccable with your words starts off with this: do not judge or blame yourself for anything. Now, that's big, right? In a world where we're trained to be self-critical, we're trained to base our idea of success on how other people rate us or how our bosses rate us, the opinions of others. But be impeccable with your word, it's important to remember, begins with you and you, your inner story about you. So once again, do not judge or blame yourself for anything. Number 2, do not take anything personally. Narine spoke on that. I kind of feel the same way. Again, we're systemized. We live in a system of capitalism that is extreme, it's unregulated, and it's based on productivity. So our entire society is trained to, adhere to, criticisms or praise to increase productivity. And oftentimes that criticism feels personal. So when we take nothing personally, it kind of detaches us slightly from that system and allows us to begin to celebrate ourselves. Assume positive intent. This has helped me with my family. Not so much our sons, but my mom and sisters and people who I've had some difficulty with in terms of what they might be intending. When I assume positive intent, somehow the intentions move more towards positivity. So part of this is also about speaking what you want, expecting what you want, and assuming positive intent also allows you to not enter into a relationship, a conversation, or a meeting defensive. It allows you to be more vulnerable and to move with the flow. And lastly, always do your best. Again, we're kind of encompassed by this idea of productivity. You didn't do your best. You didn't do that. If you know that you're gonna do your best, that's all that matters. You carry through, you do your best, you offer the best you have to offer, and disconnect from the attachment to outcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Michael. As you were talking, something that came to my mind that I wanted to share was that, if we believe in the power of attraction, which we do because we know that we can create our own reality, in order to create our own reality, we want to take the path of least resistance. And that's when we attract the most. So in order to get to the path of least resistance, by applying and practicing these 4 agreements, you can actually get to that path of personal freedom. So thank you for making those connections. Rita, do you have anything you want to say before I move on? Any connections you want to make to the classroom from your perspective or your lens?
I think for students, when we talk about working with students, we're looking at things in terms of classroom rules, and classroom norms. And I think it's really interesting. It would be an interesting approach to use these 4 agreements as kind of like goals for your classroom, like goals to guide the behavior and the demeanor and the thinking and the well-being of a classroom.
Thank you for saying that. And I was just like looking at them and I was like, well, they're even connected to SEL standards. If you think about it, assume positive intent. That one is like, it would have something to do with like relationship awareness when, you're thinking about others in a positive way. So anyhow, connections can be made. Thank you. I'm going to move on to the next slide. So here, I have 2 resources. I didn't want to sit here and, talk at you about what the agreements were, nor did I know the size of the group. So I thought I can give you 2 options as adult learners. One is a 10-minute book summary, and the other one is an 8-minute video, depending on the type of a learner that you are. And I'm going to drop the links separately to these in the chat box. I'll stop sharing my screen. I'll drop the links. I'd like everyone to take 10 minutes to either watch the video or do the read. And then we'll come back and we'll have some discussion about this, because in order to truly be able to apply these agreements to your life we have to kind of think about it and talk about it and make sense of it and apply it to real life situations. Okay, so please allow me to stop the share. And I'm going to grab these links for you really quickly. Okay, that's the summary of the book. I'm trying to, I guess I didn't link the video, so just give me a second. I'm just going to find it really quickly.
Narané,
Yes.
I see we have 45 minutes left, and I want to
Okay.
make sure we have at least one breakout room. I mean,
Okay.
I'm guessing that's what's happening after this, but I know everybody's really looking forward to the movement segment too.
Okay.
I'm feeling comfortable.
You're okay?
With
Okay.
what you've shared so far, that we could,
Okay.
maybe this would be a good time to go into breakout room, or after Michael leads it's up to you, but I just wanted to, make you aware of the time of the 45 minutes. And I mean, this could be something that we could watch afterwards, and I can share in the resources potentially.
Got you. Okay. Sounds good. I just wanted to make sure everybody had some context before we moved on, but we can definitely do that. Michael's Qigong is going to take about 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Rita needs about,
that's fine.
Rita needs about 20 minutes. So I'm also looking at the time. So we can go into a breakout room now. Now, let me ask you something, Tracy. Can you set us up with a couple of breakout rooms? Because I wasn't really sure if, okay, so great. So let me go back to my PowerPoint then, because we do have those. We have the breakout rooms.
I have breakout rooms of 3 set right now, 7
Correct.
rooms.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yep.
And
3.
will that be Rita and you and Mike going into them also, or should I take you out of the room?
Correct. No, you can actually put us into a breakout room each.
Okay.
That would be great. Okay. So thank you for your flexibility, and thanks for being the timekeeper. So we were here. We talked briefly about each agreement. This you can watch on your own. And if you refer back to the table, I'll make sure that I include the links and the PDFs of the summary of the book. There's actually a PDF of the whole book too, and there's a free audio. I'm going to skip the scenarios that I have here. This was more of a whole group, and move forward to the breakout sessions. But I want to talk quickly about these. These are real life scenarios that are from my personal experiences. So they're real life scenarios, and they're just discussion questions that can be used to discuss the 4 agreements in the context of school and specifically leadership. So you have access to this deck, and if you want to use these in the future, you have access to them. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to quickly talk about the deactivate box before we go to our breakout sessions here, because this is a very, very powerful practice. Everybody got a box, correct? Here's my box. If you can see it. Oh, it's Michael, it's on you somehow. I wanted to kind of see myself. Anyhow, I'm sure you can see, this is my box. Abraham Hicks uses this box to deactivate any thoughts that take space. She calls them mental clutter. So how does this relate to the 4 agreements? So I was thinking about the agreement, the second agreement, don't take things personally. And I was looking at this, I was thinking about this first scenario, which was a time where I was evaluated by a supervisor. And even though I was working really, really hard to, solve a very big staffing issue and make sure that we were on target with our instruction and standards and all of that, we had fallen a little behind. So at our evaluation, which only happened twice a year, I got a couple of basics in some of the major competencies. So that was very, very personal to me. And as I came home and discussed it with Michael, he tried to kind of help me not take it personally and say, hey, that's her job. She has to justify what she's doing. You have to see it her way. You don't work for her, you work with her, so on and so forth. So if I were in that situation now, what I would do, and the way I would use the deactivate box, is I would write a note to myself, and I would write something like, I'm not going to use her name, but I'm going to use her initials. NM's opinion of my leadership doesn't define my value or measure. So about that specific situation, that's the part that caused me the most pain, because there was a lot of good feedback too in that evaluation, but I couldn't really see it. So I'm going to find the part that hurts, find the part that needs to be deactivated so that I can feel differently, assume differently, and I'm going to put it in my deactivate box. Right now I have probably about 30 notes in here, and the power of the word is something else, because once you write that down and put it in the box, it almost feels like it disappears. So that's just a practical tool to use to kind of get rid of some of our thoughts, because we are not our thoughts. We can observe them, we can put them in the box, but we don't have to own them. Any questions, any feedback about the deactivate box?
I just wanted to say, as a parent and a primary teacher, that I could use this as a strategy. There's not always moments in the daytime where I can address what my students are going through, and there's hundreds of things that they're constantly going through, and just giving power to this deactivation box, I think is a good strategy to help students throughout the day, because sometimes the stuff they're going through interferes with learning, right? But we can't always address it. And maybe having one of these boxes in our classrooms can just kind of be a Band-Aid for the moment, but really be powerful and hold power for them. And we can address it at a later time.
Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else? Any other ideas around how this could be used?
Yeah, I just want to chime in and say, I really agree. I teach high school. Can I see your box again? Did you have it? You have an actual box?
I have an actual box. It's a pretty box, but I wasn't really using it, so I just kind of made it my box. It's kind of like a shoe box.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Can't see it with your background. It's funny.
Oh, I
It
see.
disappears.
Sorry.
I see it. Yeah, I think, and I also think Michael is maybe pinned or something, that because he's always the speaker on the speaker view. So.
Oh yeah. Here's my box.
Got it.
Just a box.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that idea from high school.
Yeah,
too.
it's wonderful. It does wonders for me and my mental health. Okay, I'm gonna change this back. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question before you move on?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so if we did it in the classroom with the students, because I like that idea, then when do we visit it? When do we open the box and actually go through and visit it with the students? Or do we not visit it?
I would say it depends on how you use it. When I was in the classroom, I had a letter box where people actually wrote letters to me. They wanted me to read that. This is a deactivate box. You don't have to visit it. It could be like, hey, you have a thought and it's really bothering you. You write it down and you want to deactivate it. Like you have so much self-awareness, you know that thought is not really serving you. So that you're not adding another layer of work for yourself. Now, if you want to kind of read them on the side and gain some, insight to how your students are feeling, you can do that. But I would say it's up to you. You can try. They may say, yes, go ahead and open it, teacher. We want to hear it. But would that be going back to thoughts that they've already deactivated?
Yeah. I was kind of looking at it as kind of like when we did the fire with the writing down our fears. To me, that's what I was thinking of with the deactivate box. It's like, once I write it down, it's very cathartic. I've released it. It's no longer there. So now I can focus on what it is I need to do. Yeah. And they don't hold that as part of like, this is who, they don't hold it as an identifier.
Yeah. You don't give it that value. Like it's not who you are. You had that thought, you kind of observe it, you wrote it down, you got rid of it, you burned it. Now, next, right? Okay.
Got it.
Thank you for your contributions. Anyone else? Does anyone have anything else to say before we go into our breakout groups?
Could I add to the and great resource there? I think it would be something that I would kind of use in middle school to be something that they built in class, and you kind of give them the backdrop of why this is important and as a tool that they can use outside of school also. So this would be something that they would create, take home, and then be able to access that through that. And maybe also being that technology is so big with our students that either Chromebook wise, they could journal within Schoology sessions that we kind of have, which is an online classroom, or in their own notes that later they could drop those things into their personal box that you kind of introduce to them as a SEL tool.
I love that. I love that, especially since if they make it, then they take personal ownership of it, right? And they can each have their own. So thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Well, thank you
Okay,
so
I
much.
have,
Yes,
sorry, I
go
have a
ahead.
thought.
No, go
Maybe
ahead,
this is
please.
just- Okay, so maybe this is just like way out of the loop, but I see like a family engagement connection here, like families can create these, like parents. I mean, we got a lot of stuff that's on us, you know? Can you imagine having one where you just get to release all of that at the end of the day? So when you come home to your family, you're the best version of yourself. Like, get a tissue box and stick it in your car and put all that foolishness in that box. So when you get out, you know, you're like, hey, this is the best version of me that I have right now. Because I'm not bringing home the rest of that stuff. I've like shed that layer. So I was just thinking of a family engagement piece of because then it goes back to, it helps with generational trauma that a lot of families have. And so you're teaching your kids by modeling this really cathartic, like, you know, way to release this negative. That's okay. That's all I got.
No, it's good.
Thank
It's
you.
great. Thank you for that. Because, you know, think about it. It's a very simple strategy, but it can do so much. It's so powerful. So you're more than welcome to take it and run with it, because you can do this with your families virtually. Hey, get a box. Let's decorate the box together online. You need glue and some magazines and a pair of scissors, and then this is how you use it. All right, we're going to move on. Thank you so much for this. We are here now. Okay, so I'm going to leave this slide up. I don't know how this is going to work, Tracy, because when they go into their breakout sessions, will they still be able to see this slide? Probably not.
It won't, but there is the link in our shared folder to it. And maybe we can just put I don't know if you can copy and paste into the chat will be helpful.
Okay, so what I'll do is I probably can't copy and paste the specific slide, because I don't know if I can drop photos in there. But what I'm gonna
I was just thinking the words.
Yeah.
If
yeah, I can do that. So I divided us up by our first names. I don't know if that's how it's gonna turn out.
I created rooms already with
You did.
4 people in each, unless you want
Great.
it just
No, that's good. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm going to drop these 3 questions here. I would say Michael and Rita, make sure that you take, why is this private? Oh, I'm sorry. I was, I guess, chatting privately with somebody. Okay, here it is. So that's to everyone. I'm going to copy and paste these questions. Even if it ends up that we all discuss the first question, that's fine. We just want to give people an opportunity to process what they're hearing and how it applies to their life. Okay, we're ready. The time is 10:56. Let's be in our small groups for 10 minutes.
Okay. So that will give everybody maybe 2 minutes to share, and then kind of a group chat at the end of that time if somebody wants to keep track of that.
Perfect. And then you can bring us back together in the May group?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Let's
Goodbye,
do it.
everybody. Chad, are you able to join, or are you at home doing a not able to get in. Did you get to go in a room? Or had you had to pop out? Hi.
Me, Tracy.
How are you?
Sorry, I'm really sick, so that's why I didn't want to go to any rooms. Sorry for that, okay?
No,
Going
that's
to
all
turn
right.
my video off. But it's great.
I'm sending you my healing vibes.
Yeah, well.
Better.
Hello, everybody. 6 of us are back in the room. Somehow in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, is the time gonna move? You know, I was worried we were gonna have all this time. And the next thing you know, it just started going so fast. So what I'm gonna do as people are coming back, I still hear my Michael, come back. I'm gonna probably
It'll bump everybody out in a
good.
in a second.
I'm gonna probably skip the Qigong and go to Rita's portion because I want her to have time. We have a video of the Qigong, so
We
I'm
can
just
go a few minutes over as well. Like what I was most looking forward to was the movement. So I will be
good. Okay, so I don't want to take people's time. So if you let us go until 11:30 and then you take 5 minutes at the end.
And if
Tracy,
people are
or
still
whatever.
working on, if
Yeah.
people are still working on their creative project
Okay.
that gives us,
Okay.
they can go on their own over or
Okay.
stay with us as they
All
work
right.
on it. But
If you say so, you're the decision maker.
I don't want to miss out on my Qigong.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll do it. We'll do the whole thing. That was really nice. Like, the power of having conversation in small group is really valuable. So thank you for making sure that we had that breakout session. Does anyone want to say any words from their breakout session before we do our movement? Are there any people who want to share anything?
I wasn't
Again, the
in the
connection.
breakout room, so I want to hear somebody share.
So again, the connection, the collaboration, the insights, the perspectives, the I don't know, the that goes into our passion of what we're continually trying to navigate and journey with related to our kids, I think is really powerful. And I truly appreciate coming back to the 4 Agreements. It is a book that I've read previously, and it's coming up in this presence of this retreat for a big reason. So thank you so much. And thank you to my lovely Caitlin and Sarah for being there in my group.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. Anyone else?
In our group, we talked about the last question with dreaming, and I just, what I thought was really poignant is that we are all co-dreamers. So let's dream our best dream together and go forward. Thank
Got
you.
chills. I love that.
I thought we had a pretty good conversation on the first item there regarding the 4 agreements, and we seem to gravitate around the second agreement, and that don't take anything personally in spite of all else that's coming at you and the dynamics of of our current environment. Lifelong journey.
Yeah. 1111 on that note. Thank you, Hector. That was perfect. I'm going to move us along. Michael, you're up. You are sharing your Qigong portion now, and we're looking forward to it. Michael.
Okay, so first I gotta make sure I can be seen because.
Perfect, we can see you.
Hey, and it's 11:11 here in Chicago area.
That's right.
You said
1111. I love the numbers. I'm always seeing those numbers.
I'm gonna move myself back a little because I can't do movement with the wall directly behind me. So let's see how we're positioned.
That's good, Michael.
Okay, good.
All right.
Okay, so it's important for us to kind of understand, what Qigong is and what Qi is before we begin any movement. Nana, can you put me, pin me? I'll pin me. Okay, I can see myself. That's a good thing. Okay, so hello everybody. So Qi is a word used by the ancient Chinese when they were developing Tai Chi and Qigong to express your inner energy, your inner power. You have energy meridians that run through your body. If you go like this, they run through your, almost like a macabre, like a 5-point star. They run through your limbs, they run through your heart, your body, and they actually align with those chakras that we talk about, which comes more from a Hindu or East Indian perspective, but they share a lot. So chakras and Qi have a lot in common. So you are a power source, right? And so what Qigong does is it helps to balance your Qi energy. So Qigong is a subset of Tai Chi. I practice 24-step yang form of Tai Chi, which at a later date, I would love to show you guys. And Narene, can we put me on the beach in Costa Rica? It's a 3-minute video doing the entire 24-step form into their box? Yes. Okay, so you'll have that. But what I want to show you now are some really basic Qigong practices or exercises that you can use, when you need them. And I do them pretty much every day. So I need them every day. I don't know about you. The first one that we're going to do, if you guys can stand up, can you stand up? And if you can't stand, or if there's some reason why you're not able to stand, a lot of these can be done from a sitting position, but some need you to be up and maybe even have your yoga. I have my yoga mat right here. So the first thing that we do is we stand kind of with our hands just dangling. The thing you remember about Qigong and Tai Chi is it's not a stiff art. It's not a martial art. It's about strength. It's really about being loose and flowing and letting yourself be kind of dangly and slow. Okay, so everything we do is gonna look like we're in slow motion. Okay, also the thing to know about chi is that chi becomes really powerful in your hands. Okay, when we're doing the movements, it's important that you breathe. So if we're moving, for instance, if we're gonna, and I haven't started teaching you yet, but if I'm doing this, I'm breathing, I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. So everything, if we're doing something like this, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. So it's a matter of making sure, without making sure, but allowing yourself to breathe with your movements. Also, wherever your hands are, your eyes should be with your hands. So it's kind of like putting yourself into a trance as well. Questions on those three things? Anyone? No, you guys are ready to get down. Okay. So your energy meridians, right? First thing you want to do with your foot, your left foot, is you want to always take it and move it slightly to the left. So everybody right now, start from here, relax everything, breathe a little bit, move your left foot over just a little. The stance, okay, is slightly knees bent. Your posture should be erect. Your top of your head is being lifted to the heavens. Your feet are grounded to the earth. Why? You're an electromagnetic being. The sun is always giving you that electricity. The earth has magnetism, right? So you're in between those two. And Tai Chi really speaks to that, grounding and lifting, okay? So what you'll see me a lot of times when I'm bouncing, right? So it's that bounce. You're pumping your blood as well. Okay, so let's start. The first thing we're gonna do, again, we're gonna have our feet about fist width apart like in yoga. And then we're gonna move our left foot slightly over. Take a breath, come down, and we're gonna limp hands. You're gonna raise your energy. You're gonna come up, breathing in to right about above the shoulders, and then push down, breathing out. Up and down. Up and down. We're gonna do everything about 5 times. Up, raise and lower. One more time for this one. Raise and lower that energy. What we do is we always put our left hand again below the belly button, right hand over when we end it. Okay, next practice is it's important to also get some twisting in. When you twist, what you're doing is a few things. One is that you're allowing your body to tighten and squeeze out toxins. Another thing is you're loosening up your spine and your pelvic area. So here's the way this one works. Your hands are loose. As you turn left, if you turn left, you allow yourself to make contact. Come on. And as you get a little bit higher, you can let your arms come up until you hit your shoulders. And when you're contacting your body like this, it's actually a form of tapping. Let's do it one more time. We're going to rise up. And back down. And then come to center. And we'll close our legs. We're going to shake out. Shake your hands. Are you guys ready for this one? This one's a little bit different. Shake and jump. Let your hands fall. How do your fingers feel? Anyone have tingles? You should be having some tingles in your hand. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create something called a chi ball. Okay, and that chi ball is very important. When we're done creating our chi ball, you're gonna place the energy of the chi ball someplace where you have discomfort. So if your neck is hurting, your shoulders are hurting, your back is hurting, any place where you may have a medical condition, that chi is healing energy. Okay, so let's begin. Put your hands together. Then come to your side. Again, move that left foot. We're gonna raise our energy to about right here. Come out. Come around. Have one hand on top. I have the right hand on top of the left. And exhaling, bring it down to right about here. We're gonna come up. Bring your hands close enough where you start to feel energy before they connect. You should feel a tingle. Give it time when you come in, you just kind of slow it down. Now we're gonna play with that chi ball. Start to go like this. Almost like you're stretching, pumping yourself up and down. Couple more. Now what I want you to do is take that chi and apply it someplace where you feel any type of stress, anxiety, or pain. I'm gonna go right to my solar plexus and to my kidneys and just hold that area. Apply that energy. And remember, this is not make-believe energy. This is not something that you have to believe in. This is something that is definitely part of your system. Okay, we're gonna move on to a little more of an active. I wanna show them one more. Turn to the side. Okay, you're gonna bring your energy back and push it down. Back and ground it. Back and ground it. Back and ground it. If we don't have time, but we would do it on the other side. Back and ground it. This is very useful when a wave is coming over your head. It feels uncontrollable. You bring it down and you ground it.
Thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate it. I know that Michael doesn't want to shortchange you all and wants to do all the steps and all the parts, which means that we didn't really get a chance to do the portion that my beautiful friend Rita had prepared with the artifacts. she is going to share one of the three, and we want to do it in the next 6 minutes. So I'm going to quickly present my screen with you and give Rita an opportunity to bring us to a closure. So just stay with me. Oh God, sorry about that. I'm very used to Google slides, but then when I present from Canva, it's a little tricky to go back and forth. We're gonna go here. Okay. Rita?
Hello, dear friends. Thank you for joining us this wonderful weekend. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Narni and Michael. We're just going to do a really quick activity to wrap up this beautiful weekend that we've all had. And we're going to quickly talk about the concept of a medicine bag. Cultures all over the world have used medicine bags, and medicine bags hold what are called power objects. Power objects can be actual tools for healing, like herbs and seeds and different kinds of teas that a shaman might use. But they also hold spiritual value, right? So they might just be rocks, they might be shells, they might be horsehair, they might be candles, they can be anything that we believe holds some kind of power. So in the beginning of this segment, Narine asked you to maybe find an object in your area that held some kind of power for you. This is my object. This is just a candle. And when I say just a candle, I mean, it was just given to me as a candle, but it very quickly became a power object. 2 years ago, when I struggled with infertility, I would light this candle and chant, "Spirit baby, come to me." And I was able to have fertility treatments and get pregnant, and it was super helpful to me. Did the candle get me pregnant? No, but did chanting and lighting it and meditating over it help me? Absolutely. So I would like for everyone to get out their object if you have one. And what I wanted us to do was, here's our medicine bag, our collective medicine bag. I was going to physically pass this to you through the computer and ask some of you to grab it back and put your object in. But we don't have time for that. So I'm going to ask everyone to hold their object up. Everyone, if you have it. Does anyone want to share what their object is? Why it's special? Anyone want to take themselves off mute and just share why this is special? No? Okay. Anyone?
I will. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
So my object is a gold necklace, but it was my grandmother's and she passed it down to my mother. And my mother's still living, but she gave it to me. And I'm one of 3 children, but she said, I'm the one that's going to lead the family. So I wear it all the time. And I never take it off, but I took it off for this activity. But I feel my grandmother. I feel her presence all the time. So that's why I keep it on.
It's interesting how power objects give us those feelings, right?
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else want to share? All right. Well, originally we were going to pass this bag around. And for those of us who have to be engaged in virtual teaching, if your classroom goes remote, this is a strategy to keep learners engaged where you can physically pass something through the computer and they pretend to grab it back. It's really fun. You can do that with the students if you're teaching remotely or if your classroom catches COVID and you have to go remote. But right now, I'm going to ask you all to just throw your object in the bag. So everyone, on the count of 3, we're all going to throw our object in the bag. 1, 2, 3. I got him. Oh, thank you. Got him. All right. So what can we do with these objects once they're in our bag? Traditionally, cultures carry these bags around. Some carry them under their clothes. Some carry them around with them for safekeeping. But Narnia, can we just show the next slide really quick? Because something else you can do with your power object is build altars. So these are 2 different altars that are made of power objects, and you can keep these in your home. You probably have them in your home and you just don't realize that you've built an altar. If you have a place where you keep all your special objects that have meaning to you, those are called power objects, and you've actually built an altar. Some of us already have them in our homes.
Oh, Sorry, I don't know what that was doing here. Sorry.
That's okay. I want to respect all of our time. So thank you so much for participating in the Power Object, and have a great weekend, everyone. I'm going to turn it over to Narine and Tracy and Michael.
Thank you so much, Rita. And again, I'm sorry we didn't have enough time to do your Mandela piece. There's a video embedded in here, so if you want to watch it later, you can. Michael, would you like to close us with the loving kindness meditation?
I would love to close with a loving kindness meditation. Loving kindness meditation is normally repeated 3 times. How much time do we have?
You have 20 seconds.
You have
Like, do it now.
Actually, no, you have plenty of time. You have plenty of time. If someone needs to hop off, they can, but we originally
Okay.
thought we might go 3 hours with this retreat. So
Oh,
Wonderful. So loving kindness meditation is really about oneness. Okay. It's about, for me, so number one, if you look up loving kindness meditation or you YouTube loving kindness meditation, you'll find multiple versions and they're all wonderful and beautiful because they're about loving kindness. The loving kindness meditation that I'd like to do with you is really about oneness. It's about asking the universe for certain aspects for yourself and then for all beings. So what we're going to do is we're going to repeat the 4 parts of loving kindness for ourselves, and then we're going to 3 times, and then we're going to expand that to others or to all beings. So close your eyes and breathe a little bit. I like to place my hands in front of my heart and just repeat after me. May I be happy.
may I be happy.
May I be safe.
May I be safe.
May I be comfortable.
May I be comfortable.
May I experience deep-seated well-being.
May I experience deep-seated well-being.
And everybody take yourself off mute. I want to hear everyone. Please. May I be happy.
May I be happy.
May I be safe.
May I be safe.
May I be comfortable.
May I be comfortable.
May I experience deep-seated well-being.
May I experience deep-seated well-being.
One more time for ourselves. May I be happy.
May I be happy.
May I be safe.
May I be safe.
May I be comfortable.
May I be comfortable.
May I experience deep-seated well-being.
May I experience deep-seated well-being.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be safe.
May all beings be safe.
May all beings be comfortable.
May all beings be comfortable.
May all beings experience deep-seated well-being.
May all beings experience deep-seated well-being.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be safe.
May all beings be safe.
May all beings be comfortable.
May all beings be comfortable.
May all beings experience deep-seated well-being.
May all beings experience deep-seated well-being.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be safe.
May all beings be safe.
May all beings be comfortable.
May all beings be comfortable.
Smile, may all beings experience deep-seated well-being.
May all beings experience deep-seated well-being.
Thank you very, very much, Michael. I felt that. I felt my connection to you with that. On that note, I just want to, again, thank you for your time, your energy, your active participation. I want to share one flyer with you.
You think after the past year remote.
I'm sorry.
People will stop using.
I can't hear.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I think somebody's trying to say something and they may have audio issues. But I wanted to share a flyer with you. Michael and I co-found an organization called Trade Routes. That's the mother organization. It's based out of Costa Rica. And its mission is to build bridges between people, places, and cultures through limitless modalities. So here in Chicago, we have an apothecary that has been working for 2 years, and we make products, plant-based products. But what we have started doing, and this is our first one, is we are taking a group of people that are interested to Costa Rica. This part of Costa Rica is our second home. We go 4 or 5 times a year. So we're doing our first retreat in Costa Rica. We're gonna do one in June as well. So if anybody's interested, I just wanted to make sure I passed on this information to you. And then if you take a picture of the QR code, take a screenshot, and you also have it in the folder, you'll have links to Holistic EDU's website in case you want to schedule professional development for your school or talk and say hello. And the link to Trade Routes Apothecary is also there. And on that note, once again, I just want to say thank you. It's been our honor and pleasure, and I want to turn it to Tracy. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. And it was just perfect to end, Michael, with that loving kindness meditation, because we've become so close. Some of our sessions had maybe over 50 people, and then by Saturday afternoon we were down to kind of this crew here of 20, and to have a lot of you also meet today. And this retreat unfolded beautifully and reinforced what we've been learning. And I just very briefly want to mention, since I sent a little email about this, but our statement on secularity is that with our CASA membership and this kind of being part of it, we invite different educators to share what they use for healing and self-care. And so this session was very authentic. But we always want to remind people that when we're bringing this to schools, especially public schools, that we have to be very, very careful with that, and bring in the vibratones instead of the singing, the bowls and such, and not necessarily use the words mudra and chakra unless, hey, if you're in a district and you know your community and your leadership is okay with bringing in those cultural elements, which wonderful if they are. But yes, I'm all about, having done yoga, and I know a lot of people in this group have been trained in yoga, that it's so great to do some of these practices like a chakra journey with each other. It was so powerful. And so I thank all 3 of you for spending the time to put together such a beautiful closing to our conference for us. So with that, if anybody wants to stay and share about their experience or has any questions, I'd love to stay on in here. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will be sending out an email just with some of the presenter links and reminders. Reminder to go to that evaluation form, and it's also in the digital resource fair, because we have so many giveaways, and we really want your feedback on that post-conference survey. And so and to entice you is all those great giveaways. So please do that. Let's say by tomorrow at noon, in case you want to just be done for today, and you can always do the evaluation tomorrow. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Stick around for a second.
Thank you.
If
Do we
any-
need to do the checkout?
Oh, not for today. Not for today. This was, and you can still get hours for this if you're doing the 24 extra. So we had 6 hours you could get for both the last 2 days. And then you can get 24 hours of extra ones throughout the school year. You just kind of keep track and you can send me the ones you did and we'll get those to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Michelle, I want to see that shirt. I want to see that shirt, Michelle. She has a new shirt.